Hello everyone. In this episode, I want to continue working on the DataGrid, and today I want to implement the sorting functionality. And so this is the grade that we have been working on last time from the last, I think episode 20. And I want to add the sorting functionality. And first thing I want to do is to find the arrows to indicate a sorting functionality. And on DevExtreme or DevExpress, the sorting functionality actually has, they support both single column and multiple column sorting. I only want to implement single column sorting. And first I want to find the arrows. So it's going to be CSS arrow. And usually I'm pretty happy with the W3 Schools CSS, and I think I like this up and down arrow. So I'm going to use these styles, and so I'm going to go into my CSS folder and create a DataGrid class style sheet. And that's going to be DataGrid. And in here, I'm just going to paste this here. And so this is the base one. I want to change to sort instead of arrow. And I don't need right, I don't need left, I only need up and down. So that's pretty good. And the next thing I want to do is go to my component. And I want to go to my component and I'll find a place to apply this style. That's going to be my header. It's under my header, which is somewhere here. Yeah, it's going to be somewhere here. EH. All right, and I think I'm going to add a span here. Right, and that's going to be going to flow to the right, just like in DevExtreme. Right? And the class, I want to call a method that's called class, sort class, and I want to provide the current column. Right? Of course, we don't have this method yet, so let's go here and create one. It's going to be private method, and it's going to have sort class, and here we're going to have our column definition and our column here, and that's going to be, the logic would be something related to the sort direction, and we haven't created the sort direction configuration yet. Right, so we have to add a class here, and let's call it sort direction. And it's not going to be a class, it's going to be an enumeration, and that's going to have not set, right? Ascending and descending, and that sort direction has to be also added to the column definition. And from here, we're going to say prop tap, and use the sort direction right in here, and we'll call it sort direction, and we initialize that sort direction to not set, sort direction dot not set. Okay, that's good. And then in here we're gonna have a logic. We need to check whether the sort direction is about that. So the sort direction is set or not set. If it's set already, then we are going to return, because we go to this class, so we'll see that how they're using it. They put the arrow and then the direction, right? In our case, we are going to use sort, because we changed it to sort instead of arrow, and then this direction is going to be column dot sort direction dot to string and to lower This is very similar to alignment. We can use that, the enumeration to string. And if it's set already, so of course here this has to be a string, right? And if it's set already, then we return something. Let's call it no sort, and we are going to add this no sort thing in our CSS DataGrid here, and we're going to say no sort. And because we are using it on a span, so the only thing we want here is to say display equals none, which we're trying to hide that span when there's no direction. Right, so I'm pretty happy with this. Going back to the header place, this span will need sort class. Yeah, so it's already coded here. That's pretty good. And we will actually need this on all of that. Okay, so it's going to be this part. Well, actually, I'm just going to copy this over to here. And this code should be cleaned up. I'm just using this just so that it's clear what we are trying to do. But we should use some sort of function to clean up this this whole thing here. So we have our direction. Yeah, we have our direction, and so we can test this by initialize our data. So we're going to go in here, and then let's say I want to sort with name. Right, so sort direction equals sort direction dot ascending, and then we're gonna go to our application, refresh the page. Okay, so it's not being displayed. I wonder why. So I'm gonna inspect. Okay. So in here, I do have my span. Oh, I see. Because I included that CSS, but I didn't reference it in the host.cshtml. So of course in here I need to include my new class, which is use this. Actually, I'm going to copy both of this to be included later then at the last place. So in here it's going to be DataGrid, right? Okay, and then we just need to refresh again. I'm going to do a Control F5. Alright, so this doesn't look like it's the right direction. Did I? This is a weird direction. Let's go back to our CSS and see what actually happened. So direction is, oh, okay, so I forgot to change this because it's gonna be ascending or descending, right, which corresponds to our direction in the enumeration, which is where is it? Yeah, in this enumeration we have ascending and descending, and in our component sort class we are using this toString, so it's going to be either ASC or not set or DESC, right? So in here I just change that to corresponds to the enumeration, and then if I just refresh this again, then it's good. So we have well, data we haven't sorted yet, right? But we have already initialized our data to be ascending. Sorry, yeah, in here to be ascending, right? We have this to be ascending, and then it's showing a up arrow, which is correct, except the alignment is a little bit off. And see what we can do to adjust this. So we have this here, And then, so let's see whether we can do something about it. So this is ascending class in the DataGrid, and we want to do something here. And I wonder whether I can add some kind of, you see this using padding in the sort. Let's see whether if I add some padding here, what would happen in the ascending place if I add 3 pixel. What happened? 3 pixel of padding. Didn't do anything, right? Did it do anything if I change it? Oh, okay. Padding just make the size change. So what if I add some margin and add 3 pixels of margin? Let's do the change. Actually, okay. So it's actually seem pretty good. So if I use margin 8, then that would be probably okay. So let's go to my component and then go here, and so if I do margin 8 pixel, that's going to be probably okay. And the next one we're going to test is let's make this descending and see what happens. So for now, we're not sorting the data yet. We're dealing with the arrow, the indicator of the sort direction. Okay, so we also have this problem, and we want to add this as well. And we added margin last time. Let's see what happens if we use 3 pixel. I think 6 is pretty good. Maybe 5. Yeah, let's use 5. So let's go to our DataGrid, and under here we would say margin 6 pixel. Do we say 5? Okay, 5 pixel. All right, so we're happy with our direction, the indicator of the sort direction. And the next one is we need to sort our data. And to sort our data, let's go back to the DataGrid component. And in here, whenever we click on the header, we want to unclick, right? We want to sort data. And we also want to provide this in here, and usually to call it that way, we yeah, it's gonna complain, so we use our proper syntax here to provide that. And let's define this sort data function, and that's going to be sort data here. And again, it's passing in the column definition, right? And column, right? And in here, what we want to do is, because we only support single column, because we only want to support a single column sorting, then first of all, so what is this column? This is going to be the column that you click on, right? So it's going to be sort by column. Let's name it meaningfully. And what we are trying to do here is, because you may click on one column and then you click on some other column. So first of all, we need to clean up the sort direction on other columns, because we only want to support one sort direction. We only want to support sort direction on one column. So first of all, I want to run through all of the columns, right? And then if our column.data field doesn't equal to sort direction dot sort by column data field, if it's not the same data field, then we will set this column to sort direction dot not set, right? So then this reset any other columns that had a sort direction already. And then we're going to switch. We're going to see what direction we are on currently for this column that we're clicking on. Right? So if it's not set, right? So if the current column is not set, then we are going to set it to ascending. If the current column is already set, and if it's already set to ascending, then we want to change it to descending, right? And if it's set to as descending already, then we change it to ascending. And if it's default, then that should not in theory happen, but if that happens, we just set it to ascending again. Right, so that changes the I think a typo here. That changed the direction, that set the correct direction, right? And then we're gonna look at our direction that we just set. Right, so if it's ascending, then we need to order our data. So we need to order our data by using the sort method, and that has a overload, and we just need to provide the comparison delegate. And I think what we should do is to basically we can, so at the X is T item, right, which is our, in this case is our employee, I think. In this case it's our employee, right? But it's T item, so we have to use reflection here, and then we just need to get the data of X, and then data from the Y, and then convert it to string, and then we compare them. Right, so we gotta use reflection again. So we're gonna say T type of T item, then we got property, right, and then we get this data field from the sort direction, a sort by column, and then we can get value. Get a value of the X, and then we change to string, right? And then because string has a compare to, so we can then use compare to. Compare to what? Compare to Y. So it's going to be the same thing here, but then we change this to Y, right? And that's all we want to do. Did I close this? This is correctly right. What is complaining? Okay, so no complaints. Good. And then if it's the other way, then we just copy this, and then instead of using X here, we change this to Y, and then we change this to X. Okay, that should do. And then this should be called in here. Did we implement that? This should be called in here, providing the column that is being sorted. And also we want to make sure the same thing is being called in all of this column again. This should be cleaned up, but I'm not going to do that here. I think in my GitHub I have already cleaned up the markup. So let's go to our code here and close this and refresh. All right, so we have our we have our header, and this used to be descending, and this definitely wasn't sorted yet, right? So we're missing something here. So the initialization is not working. So what we should do here is that we should call our sort data method when we're initializing the DataGrid component, and that should let's implement. Let's override the onParameter set, and then in here we need to call the sort data. But which column are we? I think we need to modify this method to make this a default, as a default value, which is null, and then we need to check if this column is null. That means we already had a sort direction configured in the initialization. In our case, in this case, it's the first column, name column, right? So in this case, if it's null, then we need to say sort by column equals to the column's definition. So there's got to be a column that already has a sort direction. So I need to find a column that already had a sort direction, which means not set. And then if we cannot find it, which means if the sort direction is null, then we're not doing anything. Okay, so did we call it properly? Double check. So we call it here, and then here on parameter set. Okay, so let's go back and see whether it works. Everything is sorted, but I'm wondering why it changed to ascending. And if I click on it, it does work. But why is it changed to ascending? Did we quote it correctly? So if it's not set, okay, if it's set, then we find it, we get it, and then we clean up here, and then if it's not set, then it's ascending. Oh, okay, yeah, so this will change it. That's mimicking the behavior that we're clicking on the column, but we're not clicking on the column in the in here. So we have to say that if sort direction, if sort column, so we're gonna have a here is because it's called initial equals false, initial equals sort by column. So if it's not, then its initial is going to be true, otherwise it's going to be false. So this has to be false. If it's not the initial method, then we're going to change direction, otherwise we're not changing direction. So hopefully this will fix it. Okay, let's refresh. All right, so yeah, this looks right. Okay, this looks right. Let's change this. Let's add a cursor here, right? So which is going to be part of our DataGrid class, and that's going to be. It doesn't matter whether it's ascending, descending. It has to be added here. So it's going to be cursor. It's going to be pointer, and then let's refresh, and that should do it. That should do it. Why it didn't work? Did I save it? Oh, okay. This is not the right place. This is the span. I think we need to add. Yeah. I need to add this cursor thing here. That should do it. Okay, yeah, it's working. And then if we click on this, Okay, this is working. And I like the alignment as well. Okay, yeah, sorting works pretty well. Okay, so now let's see whether the sorting works with the paging. I hope I don't need to make any changes. So I need to go over here, and then I need to re-enable the paging thing. Paging is enabled in here. Okay, and refresh. Okay, so we have our paging enabled, and looks like the sorting is just working fine with paging. So JKL RT, and then we test with the number here. It's also working correctly. All right, so all right, cool. So we implement our sorting functionality. All right, so that's everything I want to cover for today. If you like my video, please give it a like and subscribe, and I'll see you in my next episode. Thank you.